Okay, Algebra 1 students, I'm going to show you another way that we could solve this equation here. I believe it's number 10 on your second round of two-step equations. Now, hopefully you did this. You said the first thing happening to the number in the bucket is it's being added, 3 is being added to it, and then it's being multiplied by -2, and the result is -14. But rather than do that, and this is the way most people end up doing this because they get into uh, and become conditioned to do this, and that's fine. Um, but most people are conditioned after a while when they see it set up like this. They think, oh, let's use the distributive property. The distributive property, where we say -2 times this quantity x plus 3 is the same as -2 times x plus -2 times 3. Remember, here's the distributive property. A times b plus c equals a times b plus a times c. That's the distributive property. So we're going to apply that here. -2 times x, that's -2x. And -2 times 3 plus -2 times 3, that's -3. Um, so we're adding -3, which is the same as subtracting 3. And that's going to equal -14. So now, what's the first thing happening to the value in the bucket now? It's being multiplied by -2. And then, after it's multiplied by -2, 3 gets subtracted from it. And the result is -14. We undo by adding 3. -14 plus 3 is negative 11. And then we undo the times -2 by dividing by -2. -11 divided by -2 is negative divided by negative. Negative divided by negative is positive, and that will be 11 halves. That's the simplest way to write it. You could write 5.5, but usually fractions are better than decimals because sometimes the decimals repeat, and you need a fraction to write it exactly. So 11 halves. So now let's check that answer. 11 halves plus 3. That's a little hairy. -2 times 11 halves plus 3. Well, 3 is 6 halves. So it's 11 halves plus 6 halves. 11 halves plus 6 halves is 17 halves. This is not looking right. -2 times 17 halves. Well, that will be -34 halves. That will be -17. Does -17 equal -14? Nope. That means we messed something up. I'll go back and figure out what I did wrong and record this correctly in another video because I've already made this one long enough. Okay, well, I decided instead of create a new video, I paused and I found where I went wrong. So I'm just going to show you. It turns out to be advantageous a little bit that I made a mistake because it points out, it shows you the value of checking your solution. If I had just stopped and said, oh, x equals 11 halves, I would have been wrong. I mean, but it's easy to check your solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all this mess. Oh, well, first of all, let me show you where I went wrong. It's way up here. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 3, we're adding -6, not -3. So there's the mistake. So I need to do some erasing here, don't I? erase. And that's going to change this here. And that, and that, and all that. And that. All right. Now let's go back to full screen mode, and this is what it should look like. -2 times pin. All right, -2 times 3 is -6. So we're adding -6. So -6 here. Undo that with +6. -14 plus 6 is -8. -8 divided by -2 is 4. We check that 4, and now it's looking good. -2 times 7. Oh yeah. -14 equals -14. This time we got it right. The value, the number in the bucket was 4.